everybody! Oh, there's Chris's face. Hello, everybody! And
Am I allowed to be perceived?
Monday nights!
Yay!
Shit-talking gods!
That's the plan!
Yeah, baby!
Haven't just seen a whole bunch of memes about, abandon hope, all you who enter here, but here we are!
Oh, so you've been to Dundee?
Indeed, I have. Also, one of these days, I'm gonna get better lighting, I swear. I just don't want to do the fucking sun globe I did last week.
Yeah, just...
But even though it's a warmer colour, I just gonna be fucked.
Yeah, it did kind of make it look like you're about to get raptured.
I wonder if I do a combination of both, will it warm it up and still keep the face light?
I mean, you could set your house on fire. That'll warm it up.
Stone walls.
Nah.
No.
Stone warms and stone stays warm.
That is true. There we go. That's the lesson. Burn your stone houses, folks.
Exactly.
Burn your stone houses.
Bake yourself. Turn your house into a brick oven. This is the fire safety tips with.
No, that's actually like the worst of both worlds, isn't it? Because now I look horribly pale and washed out, and there's a horrifying sunstroke.
Yay!
Alright, guys. We're going back to Peely Wally, Chris. That's the only way.
Ladies and gentlemen, Astarion at the end of Baldur's Gate 3.
Exactly. Also Astarion at the start of Baldur's Gate 3.
Not in the end.
Astarion is just always Peely Wally. Oh, God almighty.
With Peely and Wally. Now, last week, we did this thing. And
yeah, we did.
We talked a lot of shit about design, we talked a lot about lore, we talked about sort of just these Pokemon, these titans of the universe, and sort of the design language and just how we like them, about them.
Yeah.
And we ended with like a rapid fire putting Reshiram and Zekrom in their place in C tier.
Yeah, because they're scum.
Yeah, they're still better than Kyurem, who doesn't even properly have a game.
No, Kyurem does not have a game. But I like Kyurem's design as like a broken half dragon, incomplete on its own, that has to be attached to other things, and also it's ice type. And I'm an edgy bitch, and I like dark types, ghost types, and ice types.
And we do have very few ice type legendaries. Like there are.
It's true.
Like the first one was Regice.
No, Articuno, you dickhead.
Articuno, sorry. Articuno, Regice.
Yeah.
Glastrier.
There's got to be something in between there.
Well, Kyurem.
Yeah, Kyurem. Hey!
So I think that's 4 ice type. I do feel like I'm missing another one though.
Well, I am pulling up Bulbapedia, so
you get the legendaries page out. I think there is another one that I'm missing. Arceus doesn't count. Because I know.
Did someone just suggest Arceus?
No, my brain went Arceus.
That's alright then.
I know the only type we don't have a legendary of is Bug.
Yes, which is heartbreaking.
Give us
also. We need a Bug legendary and we need a Bug dragon.
Oh,
yes, Flygon should have been Bug dragon.
Also, hi Dragon Craze. How you doing, man?
I forgot about Chimpo.
Yeah, I forgot about the 4 treasures, to be honest. Yeah.
I like the 4 treasures conceptually, though.
I do like their. I really like their designs, and I would happily fight God for Chiyu's shiny.
That's fair.
Because holy shit, that's a good shiny. Despite the fact that
Chiyu the goldfish.
Chiyu's the little goldfish.
Yeah. What color is the shiny goldfish?
Oh, it's like a proper flame blue.
Oh, fun.
Oh, it's very good. Problem is, it's shiny locked, so you can't legally get the shiny. Like so many of the good, legendary shinies, you can't get any of them. They're all shiny locked.
Well, that is pants.
Yeah.
Damn you, Nintendo and Game Freak, and your shiny locking.
But yeah, Dragon. Brainstorming D&D stuff is kind of most of what I do at work these days as well. I've got a whole thing in my notes app that's just like, right, here's things you need to write the notes on, and I do all of it at work. all of it at work. Because there's no customers. I'm like, fuck it.
And that is why we're doing Pokemon tonight, to give his brain a rest.
We've dungeoned many a dragon. I, in fact, applied for a job to Dungeon Dragons professionally today.
So, fingers crossed.
Fingers fucking crossed, because I really do with the money. Anyway, speaking of, let's get this going.
Indeed.
Let's talk about something that I think legitimately we could convert into a D&D monster pretty easily. It is, oh dear, our dear. It is the, technically speaking, I think it is the sexiest legendary because it's the only one that is X-rated. It is Xerneas.
That was dreadful.
That was fucking horrible, but I stand by it. There's Motherhugger.
Why? Right. Why, dear, why? Why would you do this?
Names and the wives of a deity. Well, first thing you do there is you work out how many wives they've got, because that'll limit you. And then for cult names, depends how serious your campaign is. Because if it's not particularly serious, dear God, come up with a fun acronym, because you can do amazing things with it.
Absolutely.
Exactly. For example, you know, oh God, I came up with some really good ones. I was going to do like a Strixhaven one shot, and all the clubs had really obscene, like all their acronyms came out to be really obscene words. Ooh, looks like you're having fun with that one.
Jamming. Right.
But now we have a really good one that spelled out cunts. I forgot what it.
I am so sorry that your cunt acronym has been forgotten and lost to time.
Try, hey, if you want a celestial that's an actual thing, try Oriole from the Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica. I think she's the head of the Boros Legion. Try her. Anyway, Xerneas! It's a deer.
Xerneas! This is a deer.
And I think Hayao Miyazaki's gonna sue somebody.
Well, you know what? This deer doesn't get decapitated to spur on the story. It becomes a canon.
Yeah, which I never really got.
The canon is kind of confusing. Like, I'm not gonna lie.
Thing is, I get the canon in why.
Yeah, because is Bird of Destruction, is KFC of Destruction.
Yeah, it is Kentucky Fried Carnage. Yeah.
Yeah, Kentucky Fried Carnage.
Yeah.
But Xerneas is a being of life.
Xerneas is a being of pure life.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. I feel like there's probably a meme in there about like being of life and gun. You mean life doesn't create life? Never did.
Oh no. I was gonna make a joke about the American education system where it's like live by the gun, die by the gun, but
there's a little bit of that too.
Ooh, cult names. Chris, you got any good cult names for D&D?
I mean, the problem with coming up with good cult names is cult names in the real world are based on either the dumbest shit or the edgiest shit.
Yeah,
so like it's things like, you know,
the children of
the
Happy
Sable
Sunshine
Moon cult. Yeah, it's fucking easiest thing is to take what is your guiding ideal that the cult has derived from. So, you know, like a lot of Christian cults are the children of such and such because they are all God's children, that kind of idea. You look at, I'm playing Horizon Forbidden West at the moment. A lot of the cults there are derived from sun worship, so they're various forms of phases of the sun. You know, the eclipse, the, you know, path of twilight, that kind of thing. So, you know, if you have your guiding ideal, if your guiding ideal is get bitches, which if dude has 7 wives, then may well be the cult of get bitches, then, you know, do that.
If you want to go down the sort
the
of
harem cult.
I was gonna say if you want to go down the sort of deceptive route, you genuinely could probably go the cult of the rainbow children, because you've got like the 7 colors and the 7 things. People are like, oh, that sounds great. Sacrifice.
Absolutely. All in the name of Tiamat.
But if you're being Tiamat, sometimes the rainbow tastes you. But if you're being but if you are going for sort of trying to be like quite dark with the Order of the Black Moon and Children of the Forgotten God is pretty good, Dragon. Like those are some pretty solid cult names.
Yeah, I'm like, there's a lot of fantasy. There's a lot of fantasy pedigree to Black Moons and Forgotten Gods.
I like Children of the Forgotten God.
Yeah.
If only because the Forgotten God just is a truly ominous statement to me.
Unless it's Terry Pratchett, in which case it's a turtle living in the desert with one believer.
And one eye.
Indeed. We love the great god Om.
We do, yes, we honor Barotha. Anyway, let's talk about this deer. Let's talk about this fucking deer. Like, you want a Forgotten God? It's this cunt right here.
Hey, you know what? That's fair. That's fair. This was the unloved child of the. Well, no, it wasn't. Zygarde was the unloved child of this generation.
Zygarde was the late loved child because Zygarde got emphasis and we're pretty sure now getting their own game.
Yeah, like Zygarde became a big deal after it got totally binned.
Yeah, Zygarde
in actual X and Y.
Zygarde showed up more in the next generation than the game it was supposed to be in.
Yeah, which is wild because it's like a totally like there's no lore referencing stuff in it in X and Y. There's absolutely nothing to do with it. You just find it in a cave.
Yeah, and also here's the thing. If it's supposed to be the third part of the trio, what the fuck is it? Because Xerneas and Yveltal are life and death. What the fuck's the middle stage of that? Pregnancy?
Snake.
Is Zygarde?
No, Snake. It's
Zygarde.
Just Snake.
No, Zygarde is like a million little cells. Zygarde is the being of pregnancy. Okay, which means that Zygarde is immortal in many states in America.
It means Zygarde has more voting rights than most people in America.
We're getting political today. Look, man, I sent out a tweet taking the piss out of the Chinese president like a few days ago. I'm doomed already.
Why?
Yeah, I said.
I mean, not that Xi Jinping is not hilarious, but why?
Well, because my friend Nix was wearing a Winnie the Pooh hoodie. And I took a picture of them and put it on the internet saying, I met President Xi Jinping today.
I mean, that's fair. That's very fair.
And it was very funny of me.
You know what? That was incredibly funny of you. And witty and clever.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you.
It's taken out by a Chinese sniper. What's wrong with Chinese sniper rifles? They're all made in China. I've only had like 2 sips of this.
Yeah, it's gone. It's getting off the rails real fucking quick.
Anyway.
It's fine.
Do we actually have anything to say about Xerneas?
Yes!
You had one.
I like him. I got X and Y, and much as I was deeply underwhelmed by its unique move, which is called Geomancy, which is not special.
It isn't, it isn't.
Like, it is, like, you know, in terms of the very first fairy legendary, like, it's okay. You know, I like the design. I think the design is, you know, stately and majestic, which is lovely.
I love Xerneas' design. I love it to bits.
Yeah.
Like, that's a cool looking deer.
Yeah. And it very much, it leans very hard into the mechanics that were introduced in X and Y, in that they introduced megas, and they also introduced terrain. So they got a legendary that was going to lean into terrain. So they did that.
Oh yeah, that's where terrains came from.
Yeah. So that was one of the things that Xerneas was kind of for. You know. And it's got an ability to increase the power of fairy type moves for like everybody on the field, which is great. So you know, he's a good team player as like a, you know, an emblem of life. So like thematically does things. You Yeah.
I know Gen 6
also,
Gen 6 was where we introduced fairy types.
Yes, Gen 6 was where we introduced fairy types, where we introduced megas, and where we introduced terrain effects. It was a big deal generation.
I like Gen 6. Had a little bit of it had a little bit of the opposite leveling problem to Heart Gold and Soul Silver, but fuck it.
I mean, weirdly, because I've tried Gen 6 without the EXP share, because this is the thing, like, people, for years, the Pokemon community have talked about, like, give us an optional hard mode. Gen 6 had an optional hard mode. It was turning off the EXP share.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, the challenge spike got big.
Yeah, I've been doing my Emerald Sea Glass playthrough without the EXP share because it's got the same thing.
I mean, Emerald Sea Glass without the EXP share is fine. Yeah, like, I'm doing that as well. I love that game. I'm having a great time with that game. It's very pretty and it's very simple. It doesn't do anything particularly exciting, but it's pretty and nice.
It really is Pokemon with the nostalgia goggles on and like little tweaks to make things more interesting, and I like it so much.
Yeah.
They got the feel of the game absolutely down.
Yeah. I am sad that they took out Cycling Road though. I'm like, I don't know why they did that.
Yeah, I don't know why either.
Probably effort.
The question I was going to ask is, how many fairy legendaries do we have? Because we have Xerneas.
That's an excellent question, my dude.
We have Enamorus, which is like one of the latest ones.
Yeah.
I don't like Enamorus.
No, I hate it. I have 71 legendaries total. Jesus Christ.
Fuck of a lot. Yeah, do you remember why we're only doing the box legendaries just now, man?
Yes, that's absolutely nightmarish. Why do we not have?
Because there's. I don't think we've had a. I don't think this is. I'm pretty sure Xerneas is the only fairy on the. No. Zacian. Zacian's fairy type, isn't it?
Yes. Both of them are fairy type, I think.
Zamazenta's fighting type.
Oh!
Pretty sure Zamazenta's fighting in steel.
So one's fighting in steel and the other's fairy in steel.
I think so.
Is it fairy in steel or is it fairy in fighting? I don't remember.
All I remember
the dogs are shit and I hate them.
Get there.
The dogs are garbage. They're garbage boys.
If you want to know our problems with Pokemon Sword and Shield, we have a 2-hour video on that. Go look on YouTube.
Yeah. We're not going to rehash it here. No, there were no fairy types in Gen 7. Gen 8, Zacian and Zamazenta. Zamazenta was fairy.
No.
But that was it. Oh, and Enamorus. Enamorus is Gen 8, apparently.
No, it's not.
Yes.
Okay, Legends Arceus did come out before Scarlet and Violet.
Yeah, so it counts as a Gen 8 Pokemon.
Fair enough. Legends Arceus is Gen 8.
Yeah.
Yay! Something redeemable on Gen 8! That isn't just Kamaraja and Snom.
To be fair, Gen 8, I like some sizable amounts of the Pokedex.
There's some good stuff.
Particularly Dragapult.
Obstagoon grew on me quite a lot.
Yeah.
As did Double, Jesus.
Double, honestly, like
Double are fucking beasts. I went to we did the early normal type video. I remember going to bat for Double and being like, this thing is busted.
It's hardcore, man. Yeah. It's so good. But yes, no, there's three fairy type legendaries total.
Xerneas, Enamorus, and
Zamazenta.
Huh.
Zamasilly noise.
The disappointing.
Zamasilly little guy.
I honestly, I don't have a lot to say about Xerneas. Like, I like the design of it. I like the generation it was part of. I don't really have fuck all to say about it more than that. Its regular move was good if you did a power herb on it. Because it charges for a turn and then gives you a massive stat boost.
Yeah, but it's still not.
It's not as good as any other charging move.
No.
Because most of the other charging moves will just kill someone.
Yeah. So it's I will say like I will also say its stats are okay, but underwhelming in the grand scheme of things. It's 131 base attack and special attack. Everything else is like 90 something. Health is 126. It's like
it's designed to have that geomancy boost.
Yeah, and that means that it doesn't kind of go for anything particularly hard. Like it has a really good move pool. You know what? I'll tell you that it's got a really good move pool. You get Outrage, Close Combat, Mega Horn, Moonblast, Horn Leech, Night Slash. Like it gets really good type coverage.
Really fucking solid move pool, Jesus.
Yeah, and that's not including TMs. That's just move pool as of Gen 8. So yeah, it's alright. I feel like it's probably, in terms of our tier list,
I think it's D tier.
I think it's probably D for deer.
At least with Reshiram and Zekrom, we had things to say about them. Actually, quite a lot to say about Reshiram and Zekrom.
We did in a very short time frame.
Yeah, Xerneas is kind of isn't.
Yeah. Again, I like the design, but I also like it doesn't have as much going for it in terms of design as Reshiram and Zekrom.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Xerneas has a good-looking design. It doesn't have very strong theming in its design. It's got the X shape.
No,
that's about it
doesn't. Yeah. Like, yeah.
So
yeah, nah. It's Tree of Life, but like not in any kind of fun way.
I'm sorry, little one, but you go in D tier. You can prop up Reshiram and Zekrom just there.
Bye, Felicia.
But where we have an X, we must also talk about a Y. For now, it's
time Y
for the great
fucking
bacon
Y.
bird. For the great bacon bird of death himself, 'tis Yveltal.
So this one's actually pretty bitchin'.
Yveltal is really good.
Yeah. Nah, my wife got Pokemon Y and Yveltal. I'm not gonna say I was hella jealous, but I was a smidgen jealous when I saw how good her Death Chicken was.
Yeah.
Although you want to hear something wild?
Yeah.
It has the exact same stat spread as
Xerneas.
Really? Identical.
Is it just the dark and flying typing and the really scary fucking special move?
I mean, I think it's mostly the scary fucking special move, because dark and flying is not the most incredible typing.
It's not, but it's also not bad typing. There's only...
You've got 4 weaknesses, which isn't ideal, but 2 immunities, only 3 resistances. So it's like, it's like
alright.
Honchkrow is good, but it's not breathtaking in terms of typing.
I really like
Lots of people will stand Honchkrow.
I really like Honchkrow, but I fully...
Yeah, Honchkrow's good. And also, actually, it doesn't have quite... It's got good variety of moves, but it doesn't have quite the same variety of moves. So, you got, like Hurricane and Sky Blast, you've got Focus Blast, Dragon Rush, Foul Play, Phantom Force, Psychic. But that's your type coverage.
I mean, it's still pretty good.
It's pretty good. But not quite as much coverage.
Here's the thing, though.
With more weaknesses.
Here's the thing, though.
Yeah.
Yveltal's design is just stronger.
Yes.
For one thing, the Y shape, that's kind of the central point of his design, much more evident with those great wings and the huge tail. And to just look at that head, look at this fucking scarf of flames or whatever this shit is. I can buy this thing as an avatar of death.
I mean, yeah, but like, I can buy Xerneas as an avatar of life in its big deer thing. Yeah. I think that much as black and red is always going to be strong color contrast.
Edge. Look at the edge in those eyes.
You know, and it is absolutely like the atypical edgy boy. Like that's I think I misused the phrase atypical, but it's like that is the
archetypical.
It is the edgy boy.
The word you're looking for is archetypical.
Archetypical. But it has the exact same stats as Xerneas. It has the same ability as Xerneas, but for dark instead of fairy. It has a better move.
Yeah, Oblivion Wing.
In the Oblivion Wing, which is only the second ever unique legendary flying move, with the first being Aeroblast.
4 generations earlier.
Yeah. So, you know, it's got some good heritage there in terms of like rule of cool. But he doesn't actually do much more than Xerneas does.
Tell you what it does do though.
What?
Motherfucker looks like he's made of bacon! Yveltal has a fantastic shiny. It does make it look... Like, the main idea was that they inverted the colours, because I know that Xerneas' shiny is quite heavily, has quite a lot of black elements. But yeah, Yveltal's in the original game, it made it look like it was made of bacon. So much as the bacon bird. I loved it.
I can't argue with that.
But
so
it feels like I will look at Yveltal and I'll get it a lot faster than I'll get Xerneas. I feel that its color theory, its shape language, its design is just it plays its role better than Xerneas does. If someone pointed at Xerneas and said that is the embodiment of life, I would say, yeah, you're right. I would point at Yveltal and go, that motherfucker's the embodiment of death.
Okay, I will grant you that it maybe needs less prompting.
Yeah.
And I think some of that is because death has clearer imagery than life does in society in general.
That is true.
So I think that's not Xerneas' fault. That
maybe.
Yveltal has an easier job of it.
I want to put a lot of cowl on him and give him a scythe.
Or a hood.
Yeah, just a cowl, just there.
Yeah. But it's I don't necessarily think from a design point of view, from a gameplay point of view, from a balance point of view, that Yveltal is any stronger than Xerneas.
No.
I think that we just like it because it's edgy and it's got a strong attacking move that looks cool because it's a big death laser beam.
Yeah. I think Yveltal fits also into its story better.
Yes, because the giant cannon does death thing.
Yeah.
As opposed to giant cannon does life thing, but also kills people. It's not clear. Yeah, no, I'll grant you that. And for that, I'm gonna propose that Yveltal is D but high D.
I was gonna say C.
I am still not convinced that it does as much to earn that as Reshiram and Zekrom do.
See, here's the thing, and this is me agreeing with you.
Okay.
This is still Big Angry Bird. If I was to look at other legendaries and look for a Big Angry Bird, not necessarily the legendaries on this list, but I'm looking for a Big Angry Bird, I would still go to something like Moltres or Ho-Oh first. So yeah, let's put Yveltal in D tier.
Okay.
No, things matching up around here. There you go, Yveltal.
Indeed, they are.
Menace D tier, just there.
We'll need to throw some curveballs out in a minute, like with our next ones.
Oh yes. Now we're getting into some fun shit. This time, for the light of my life, my sun and stars, 'tis Solgaleo.
Now I I have quite positive feelings about both Solgaleo and Lunala, I have to say. In terms of theming, in terms of appearance, in terms of typing, in terms of gameplay, I have
and
quite...
in terms of story.
And story!
Yeah.
Because the story in fucking Gen 7 was peak. It was really good.
It did child abuse!
Yay!
It did child abuse! All because one man decided he wanted to do beans more than he wanted to do his wife.
That is a true story.
I wish I was fucking joking.
Yeah, it's Pokemon is a great fucking game with great depth.
Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon are very good games.
I have to say, having now played Ultra Moon, I'm like, yeah, this is very good. Yeah. It just adds that little bit extra, that does, it's not. I don't think it was worth making a whole new game. I think it would have been great DLC. But
I didn't start doing DLC until
later.
I was gonna say Oras actually, but yeah, that was the generation before this.
Yeah. Did Oras have DLC?
That's what the Delta episode was, wasn't it? That was DLC, wasn't it?
No, it just came with.
Oh.
I'm sure.
Well, they didn't start doing DLC packs until Gen 8.
Extra. Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck them.
Yeah, pretty much.
Solgaleo.
Anyway, Solgaleo.
Oh my god, look at this thing. This is the sun. Its design is simple and fucking nails what it's going for. Like, you have the huge sunburst, you have that kind of streaming look, you've got the stars in the forehead, which I believe is shared by Lunala, so sort of like marrying the two as a theming. And this is a design that exudes power. Like, someone went, I want a fucking roaring... Someone asked, 1 billion lions versus the sun, and someone else said, why not both? And so we got Solgaleo.
Absolutely.
And like, there is so much to say here. It's a strong design, it's a strong Pokemon, it's a strong typing, because it's Psychic and Steel.
It is, which is great.
Yeah. Which, like, kicks ass. There's only, like, 2 others of those. There's Bronzong and there's Metagross. And I have a personal hatred in my heart for Bronzong because of how hard those fuckers are to kill, especially in Mystery Dungeon.
Yeah. I think, well, Mystery Dungeon, of course, because they get
both
both Levitate and Heat Proof.
They get both of them. They get Levitate and they get Heat Proof, and they're so fucking hard to kill.
Yeah. It's pretty grim.
Yeah, there's tons of them in Temporal Tower.
Yep. Fucking. Just to make life cruel.
But yes.
Now, yeah, as you say, it's like, from a design perspective, it's great. The whole picture of it is sunburst with, metallic trim. Your color scheming is, gold, white, red, black. It's strong contrast. It's good. It's just a good strong boy.
Yeah.
And it does big hardcore attack, and it does it powerfully. With great typing, with fairly solid stats. Again, not quite as big as I maybe would have expected, but you got health and attack both sitting at 137, special attack 113, and then everything else kind of a bit lower than that. But you've got, to back that up, you've got fucking 9 resistances and immunity, 4 weaknesses, which isn't ideal. But like,
this is where the slight little bit of irony comes in, because Solgaleo, the embodiment of the sun, is weak to fire.
Yeah.
Which is fine. Endlessly fun.
Yeah.
He's weak to fire.
It's pretty silly.
Literally, you cannot handle the heat, so you got out of the kitchen, Nebby.
Yeah.
And if you call yourself Galio anything other than Nebby, you are a criminal.
As I also, the ability's not stellar.
I don't even remember what it is.
Full metal body. It's clear body.
Oh.
Yeah, so
Not
it
even Clear Body with
reduce
fancy bits?
no, there's not even got fancy bits. It just, prevents stat reduction.
To be fair, Clear Body's a pretty good ability.
Yeah, no, it's a good ability, but it's not anything wildly special.
It's not anything new.
Also, I don't get giving Solgaleo the extra kick and special attack when it's got 2 special moves, which are Flash Cannon and Solar Beam. And I get both of those moves, but it's also just like, bruh.
You never put them on it, because if you want a good steel move, you have its unique move, which is Sunsteel Strike, which kicks ass.
Yes, absolutely.
And if you want a grass type move, use something else.
Yeah, let's try and get something nice with the TM.
Because why would you want a grass type move on this thing?
It's like, it's not
I mean,
gonna.
okay, ground types can be a problem.
Yeah, but that's kind of it.
Yeah.
It's like, for ground types, get a friend.
for ground types, call Lunala.
Yeah.
Or call an Oricorio, because those things kick surprising good bits of ass.
Okay.
Alola was an interesting generation. It was a very interesting generation because it's one of the few times where I'm just like, these maps should have been bigger.
See, this is, you and I have opposite opinions of the map design for Gen 7. Because one of the things I really liked about Gen 7, now bearing in mind, when I first played Pokemon Moon, I was on tour. And so I had lots of hours in the tour bus, going and doing pantomime around schools in Scotland. So I had lots of time. And I really liked that in every area it felt densely packed with Pokemon. That was the thing I liked about it, was no matter how small an area was, it always felt like there were more Pokemon to find. And it felt like there were different Pokemon in different bits of grass. So, like, I loved the adventure of finding new things, and I thought that was handled really quite well in Sun and Moon.
I think that might be the difference, because when I played Pokemon Sun, I was in my first year of university. So my schedule, my time, and my sleep were quite different. And the one thing I will say is, like, areas felt densely packed, I'll give you that, but it did mean that there were some things that I just never saw.
Fair.
And also, some of the islands felt quite pokey, and I didn't like that. Some of them felt big, but one or two of them felt quite pokey, and I wanted more of it. I wanted more of Alola.
I mean, that's fair. And I think one of the difficulties with, dealing with an island nation is that some of the islands will be pokey.
Yeah. Hawaii's not big.
No. And, lots of Pacific Island archipelagos are not overly big. But, it's... No, I take your point.
Yeah.
And actually, one of the nice things in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon is some of the islands get, like Pony Island gets a bit bigger.
Yeah.
Because there's additional areas and stuff to explore.
Because I never actually played the Ultra games, sadly.
I got them in CEX for cheap.
I really should play them at some point.
Last year I was trying to get you Ultra Sun for Christmas so that we could trade. And I couldn't get a copy. I was raging.
One thing I will always say about Alola, well, two things I will say about Alola. One, they had a dex with some real gems in it, Alola. And two, they have had the best antagonist team in the entire series. I will hear no
I love Team Skull as an antagonist.
Yeah. Team Skull was
because they're not really the antagonist.
They're not the real antagonist, which I think is a good story bump. But also they're really relatable.
They are, and it's like, I think with Team Skull they got it right, and then they got it wrong later with Team Yell.
And then they got it right again with Team Star.
Yeah.
I really like Team Star.
I really like Team Star.
But also, Team Skull does actually do the most evil thing in the entire Pokemon franchise, bar none. They own that one Pokemon Center that charges you.
Fucking right, they do.
Exactly. Team Skull
Monsters.
went against universal healthcare that has been the backbone of the Pokemon world.
Yup. But
Team Skull
they
tried
did
to
it
privatize
out of
healthcare.
But they did it out of necessity because they were in the place where healthcare was taken away from them. They only had access. That is England under Tory rule.
Exactly.
That is the slow privatization of the NHS.
Exactly.
That is what that looks like.
If austerity continues, we will all end up like Team Skull. Shit, I think I just argued that austerity should continue.
No! No, it means austerity bad. You don't want to live in deprivation and having to pay for a Pokemon Center that you run yourself out of behind the back of the fucking Greg's.
But what good was hair?
Like, hey up, we queue a Pokemon here for a fee, and if you're nice to us, we'll give you a cheeky sausage roll.
Don't ask what the sausage roll's made of. No!
It's the Pokemon that didn't make it.
Exactly. Oh, but no, Gen 7's really good. Gen 7 is really good. It took me a hot minute to get used to, but it did. Gen 7 did something that I very recently discovered was actually started in Gen 6 that I think is just brilliant. Is that on the first route, every single Pokemon has a 100% capture rate.
I didn't realize that was started in Gen 6. I thought that was Gen 7 thing.
Turns out that was started in Gen 6. I only found that out recently. I thought it came up with in Gen 7. It's just that in Gen 7, it goes away. After you do the festival and you have like your first encounter with Hollow, like you come back and things are normal again. So it's like a nice little tutorial area. Yeah. And it never tells you this. It absolutely never tells you this.
No.
And that's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's a
but the great thing, of course, is
tiny piece of game design.
Yeah. But there's so many. The great thing, and again, this is the thing I like about Gen 7. I'm just going to keep preaching about it. Is that if you go and talk to people in Gen 7, as of course you spent your whole Pokemon career breaking into people's houses and talking to random folk, there are so many more people who are like, if you show me this, I will give you something.
Yeah.
It really incentivizes exploration and finding new Pokemon and filling out the Pokedex and doing things. And I love that.
And I think the introduction of regional variants as a concept was brilliant.
Great.
Absolutely brilliant, and I believe is going to be evergreen.
Yes. But also, Z moves are shit.
Z moves I only really appreciate aesthetically because they were a chance for a bunch of animators and modelers to show off a little bit.
Yeah, they were kind of fun
to really
that way.
Flex, but beyond that, no.
No, they did just it was just you don't like that Pokemon that you're fighting? Here's a one-shot button to get rid of it.
Yeah,
and then do the rest of it.
They were less mechanically and honestly still less visually interesting than Megaforms, but I guess they just went, right, we're doing a gimmick per generation now. Yeah. Gen 6 was the start of the gimmicks. And they kind of did the best one first, which was a really bad idea.
It's like they could have just stuck with it, but then they were like, nah, can't do it. Because we're going to tie it to this one region.
They haven't topped Megas.
No, they've not. They've really not. Gigantamax was awful.
Gigantamax sucked. Terastallization, I will agree, is probably more mechanically interesting because it's
more mechanically interesting. Yeah,
it shakes up the entirety of the battle system because you never know if someone's gonna suddenly be a different type. But Megas were visually interesting. They added depth to Pokemon that were not necessarily well considered, like Kangaskhan, Heracross, and Pinsir, and they well, it's not that they wove them into the story very well because that happens with all of them, but they changed the shape of things so much.
Yeah.
And the designs are really cool.
Yeah.
It gave someone a chance to fan art over old Pokemon designs, and it was just great.
Yeah. Agreed.
I'm sorry, I don't want to live in a world without Hench Swampert.
This is true. But no! Solgaleo, where did it go?
We like Solgaleo. We like where it comes from. We like what it does.
We do. Strong aesthetic. Yeah. Sure. I was about to say B, but then I'm like, actually, no, there's no reason not to put it in A tier.
I'm not putting Solgaleo under Palkia.
No, that's fair. Solgaleo, solid, yeah.
Rawr.
Yeah.
Now, let's have a slightly less lively discussion about Solgaleo's lunar counterpart,
I love how you're like...
What?
I love how you're like, let's have a slightly less vigorous discussion, but we barely discussed Solgaleo. We just fangirled over fucking X and Y. Not X and Y.
We started discussing how strong Solgaleo's design is. And here's the thing:
yes,
Lunala, its counterpart. I have so much less to say about Lunala.
I have more. I love Lunala. I think Lunala is absolute peak design. Alright, I think from everything from its aesthetic design to its typing is all so on theme.
It's Psychic and Ghost, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Psychic and Ghost. Yeah. And it's like, what other typing would you have for the moon?
Rock.
Well, yeah, but we did Lunaton, and like, it was very terrestrial. And you're like, no, this is the ethereal spirit of the moon. And again, it looks like the night. And
it really does, yeah.
It does! And it's got the crescent moon wings, it's got the little starburst adornments to its wings, it's got the colouring, it's just peak.
Look at its head.
And Psychic and Ghost, and it's fabulous.
Like, I want to pay special attention to this head shape here, the stars and the head, like the... Oh! It all comes together. There's this perfect sort of circular shape theory and language, and like, look at them little teethies.
Yeah, absolutely. It's peak. Also, it has a better ability than Solgaleo, potentially.
It has an ability.
Well, it has an ability that's more special. Shadow Shield, which reduces damage taken from damage dealing moves by half when at maximum health.
It's multi-scale.
Yes.
And multi-scale's a really fucking good ability.
Yeah, and a rare move. And also, unlike multi-scale, this ability cannot be ignored. Ooh. So it's slightly better multi-scale.
Because that's the thing is, I believe there are only 2 Pokemon that have multi-scale. Dragonite,
Milotic.
Yeah, Dragonite and Milotic.
Yeah. So
Lunala
very hard
is Pokemon to get.
Absolutely. So Lunala is bitchin'. I think it absolutely nails its theme to the wall.
Yeah.
Lunala, in a way that, you know, I think
as fuck. I've just never used one, so I've no idea what it's like.
That's fair. It does, in terms of things, it does exactly the same as Solgaleo does, except it swaps special attack and special defense with attack and defense, so it's a little bit more specially. In terms of the typing, we have some problems because it's got 2 times 4 weaknesses, which is Ghost and Dark.
Dark and Ghost, of course. Ghost beats Ghost.
Yeah. So obviously, you know, still the 2 immunities from Ghost, so immune to normal and fighting, resistance to poison and psychic, everything else is normally effective. So as you hit it with, it's got an ability that means that hopefully if you hit it with a Ghost or Dark move, it won't die first hit, but it might.
Yeah. But also, it learns Moonlight.
It does learn Moonlight.
I'd be a fucking crime if it didn't.
I mean, this is very true.
So angry if it didn't. But also, I'd imagine it also learns Moonblast.
It does.
So you can deal with Dark types.
Also, Dream Eater.
Of course.
So, you know, it's pretty good. Yeah. And much same as Solgaleo's Sunsteel Strike. we get Moongeist Beam, which 100 power, 100 accuracy, ignores ignorable abilities.
Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It does the thing. And I mean, yes, I am a sucker for, you know,
Moon goes, I care
legendary.
not for your abilities. Bwah!
Yeah. But I would say that this is very definitely an A tier.
See,
if not more, because I love it.
I don't think I can reasonably put it in S tier. Like, I really do like Lunala. I like the design, I like the look of it. I like the fact that it's kind of got that shade and skeletal vibe going on while still being like a complete creature. Like,
yeah.
If you look at the sort of the bone torso, it does ghost type very well. That sort of, ooh, shade of the moon, I am the darkness, but also teeth.
Yeah. And also teethies.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think of like how many ghost type like was
2.
Is it just this and Giratina? No, it's not. This Giratina and Spectre.
Oh yeah, Spectre.
We've had others. We've had 1 or 2 others.
Let me have a look.
There's shitloads of psychic legendaries.
Yeah, Psychic and Dragon are like the 2 most common.
Yeah, Psychic Dragon, and then I think Steel.
Might be.
Maybe. Because despite the overabundance of water Pokemon, there's not a lot of water legendaries.
I mean, there's quite a lot.
There's Suicune, Kyogre, Palkia.
Mm-hmm. It's 1 a generation for 3 generations. Also, Manaphy and Fion.
Mythicals.
Are we not doing mythicals? Alright, if we're just talking about if we're just talking about legendaries, oh god, I hate the way that this Bulbapedia article is laid out. I just want a list. Can't you just give me a list? Monsters.
Pocket monsters.
Hey, I see what you did there. That's legendary and mythical group.
Yeah, I mean,
Pokemon.
Giratina is the only ghost
4,
on the
6, 8, 10.
Giratina is the only other ghost on the mascots list, at least.
I mean, yeah. Giratina, Lunala.
Oh yeah, because the way it's.
Yeah, no. It's Spectre.
I could have sworn there was another one.
I don't see one on here.
I keep forgetting the Darkrai Dark type.
Yeah, Darkrai is pure Dark type. Yeah. I mean, you want to make arguments for Rotom? Because it doesn't count.
Rotom is annoying because Rotom we all originally thought was a legendary, like a secret legendary in Gen 4, and then it just wasn't.
Yeah, it's pretty sad.
Now everybody's got a Rotom. It's in your phone. It's not a legend. Yeah. It's not a Pokemon. It's an app.
It is.
It's an app that eats my batteries.
It's Siri. Rotom is Siri.
Fuck. It fucking is. Anyway, Lunala, A tier.
Lunala, A tier.
We like Lunala. We like the Sun Moon duo.
I know what the other ghost is.
What?
There was a ghost fighting
Oh,
thing.
Marshadow.
Marshadow.
I knew there was another one.
There you go. Which I think is technically mythical. But...
yeah, it is definitely mythical, yeah. Tell you one thing I'll say that actually, that I've just realised.
What?
There's no grass types on this list.
That's the point.
When was our first grass type legendary?
I mean, if you're not gonna quibble, Celebi.
Oh yeah, it's grass and psychic.
Yeah. Then the next one would be Shaman.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, was it Shaman? But no, it wasn't. It was.
No, Celebi. Gen 2.
Oh, yeah.
It was also the first grass type legendary to get a film, so you know.
Yes, that's true. Oh yeah, that was the thing I was gonna say about Gen 7. Did you know that, despite the fact it was in all the marketing for the Ultra games, the middle form of Lycanroc, like the midday one.
Yeah.
Completely unattainable.
Is it actually?
Yeah, because what you have to do is you have to evolve a Rockruff with a particular ability. Rockruff does not naturally have that ability.
See, because I was looking to try and get one of those in my current play, in my last playthrough, I ditched it in the end just because I had better Pokemon that I wanted to work with.
Yeah, like Rockruff. I think its own tempo in Gen 7.
Maybe.
I don't remember, but in Gen 7, Rockruff did not have the ability. So if you didn't get the event one, that was it.
Dumb shit, man. That is incredibly Nintendo.
I think they patched.
That is so Nintendo.
I think they fixed it in later generations and be like, it can have the ability now, it's fine.
Yeah, so we're never running this event again, so maybe we should fix that.
Yep.
Fucking Nintendo, man.
Yeah, Nintendo, man.
Yeah, there's the one of the things that I like the least about the way the Pokemon games have been handled was special events and how they were like geographically located for a long time, and then they became more accessible later when games are more internet, adjacent. But it was like, come on, guys, come on. Maybe I'm just salty for missing out on things. Anyway, we put Lunala in A tier.
We put Lunala in A tier, and it's gonna stay there. Our A tier is quite populated.
It is. I think this is the thing. Like, legendary designs are overall pretty strong.
Shall we fix that?
Yeah, let's.
Shall we fix that, ladies and gentlemen? Because let's talk about a dog with a knife.
What? You mean Dark Souls?
No, I mean Zacian.
Oh, that's less fun.
Zacian, who ruined the meta, but that's not what I'm angry for it. I'm angry for it not being in its own fucking game.
Oh yeah.
It's not in its own fucking game. Zacian and Zamazenta do not matter.
They really don't.
They don't fucking matter. And that annoys me so much. But you know what annoys me just as much?
Go on.
The cunt who gets the other one, because they both show up in the game, the one who gets the other one is fucking Hop, and he doesn't deserve shit.
No, he doesn't.
Hop does not deserve a legendary dog. He deserves to be sent home to his mother.
Let's make very, very clear that this is our overall problems with Sword and Shield as games and how bad they are. Yeah. From a design point of view, from a writing point of view, from almost every conceivable point of view.
Yeah.
Yeah, we will shit on Sword and Shield from a great height with no end.
Yeah. I will.
But let's talk about these guys specifically.
List of my problems with Sword and Shield. But go watch the 2-hour video we did last year. That is us. We sat down and we're like, right, Sword and Shield. Here are our problems from a subjective and then from a professional standpoint.
Because we both work in professional, narrative elements.
Yeah.
Jonathan obviously has game design stuff. I have worked now in professional theatre across the UK, ostensibly since 2012, but you want to be really nitpicky. You could say after I graduated in 2016, so, Yeah,
like, we do actually kind of know what we're talking about. As much as we make really stupid jokes. In it and... As much as we do make really stupid jokes, we do actually kind of know what we're talking about. And, like, I will acknowledge, happily, I'll put my hand up and say, Sword and Shield has got some good Pokemon on the decks, things like Copperajah, Frostmoth, Centiskorch. I quite like Mr. Rhyme, although he did say
opinions
the
may
N-word.
be divided. Did you say he said the N-word?
Yes, I did.
I mean, 100% Mr. Rhyme said the N-word.
Yeah, Mr. Rhyme said the N-word.
But like,
Mr. Rhyme said the N-word, but it was a different time. But also, the Sword and Shield really did walk so that Scarlet and Violet could run. And Scarlet and Violet don't run very well, but that's a hardware problem.
No, it walked so that Arceus could run.
It walked so that Arceus could run.
Fair.
Yeah.
Like Arceus ran hard.
It ran hard and it dodge rolled. Yeah.
Yes.
Sword and Shield
Which was
walked
the
so
best.
that Legends Arceus could dodge roll.
Yeah.
So I acknowledge them as a step. I just didn't like the step, and I'm not saying that because it was based on a country that I live next to.
Yeah, Scotland's representation was not strong in the
We got a protagonist
the
and
UK.
that was it.
Yeah, we had a tartan beret. Also, Wales not present. Well, not present at all.
Didn't exist. Wales doesn't
Yeah,
exist.
no Welsh representation, no Irish representation. It was poor.
Yes,
poor
there were. Electrode was in that game. I actually don't know if could you catch Electrode in Sword and Shield?
I don't know, but you would need to have called it IR Electrode.
Oh god.
Every time it uses explosion, you just scream up the Ra.
Just boot. You just fucking boot down a gym door and scream, "Free Belfast!"
And fuck.
I said we were getting political today.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I did love that.
Right.
I did love that. And this is nothing on Sword and Shield as games. This is nothing to do with them, so this is not a point in their favor. But I do love that the fans essentially headcanoned that Gloria, the female protagonist, was Scottish, and then just started putting out the most unhinged shit.
Specifically that she was violently Scottish.
That is,
she was all of the greatest excesses of Scottish Twitter.
Exactly.
And it was like, yeah, I'll take that.
And
That's a good headcanon. I'm here for that.
I wish that
and nobody remembers the name of the male protagonist because he was pish.
That's a very good point. I don't remember the name of the male protagonist. I don't remember the male... I remember the protagonists for a lot of them.
I remember them...
Yeah.
I remember them from...
There's Red and Blue in the first, in Gen 1.
Yeah.
It's... Oh, I got changed to Ethan and Lyra in the remakes.
Yeah, Ethan and Lyra in the remakes. Gen 3, it's Brandon and May.
Because they are characters in that, so...
They are. They have actual, reasons to be.
Yeah, same for Lucas and Dawn.
Lucas and Dawn. I always forget about Lucas. But yeah, Lucas and Dawn.
Gen 5 was Hilbert and Hilda for the first one, and that I just remember that because it's awesome.
Hilbert and Hilda?
Yeah.
That was
their names.
Okay.
Of the
but you didn't encounter the alternate one, which is why I don't remember those.
I don't remember Black and White.
Hilbert and Hilda are shit names.
I remember that she was Hilda because that was really funny because that just means that there's this mad German lassie running around New York City fucking throwing Pokemon at people. That's an amazing image.
That is quite delightful. I'll give you that.
It's Rosa and... Oh, I don't remember what the male in Black and White 2 is.
It's alright.
So I don't remember that. In Gen 6, it's Serena and Callum, because again...
Serena and Callum.
Again, they are characters.
Yeah.
In Gen 7, it's... Oh, because they're named after... It's Celine and... Oh, I don't remember.
Seriously?
Genuinely, yes. I think the guy might be called Apollo. Or Helio.
Helio. It'll be Helio.
It'll be Helio.
Let's face it. It won't be Apollo, it'll be Helio.
They weren't subtle.
You mean they were smoking something?
Yeah, and then Gen 8, it was Gloria and what's-his-face?
Yeah, Gloria and that English cunt. Yeah.
And then Gen 9, you just built your own character, so it didn't matter.
Yeah, Gen 9, there are nobody's real. Everybody is a figment of your imagination.
Yeah, it was Gen 9, so your protagonist was Nimona.
Yes, the real main character.
Nimona, legit one of my favorite rivals across the entirety of Pokemon. She's great.
Anyway. Yeah, because her whole thing is just that she just wants to fight.
She's like a friendly Vegeta.
She is.
Fight me!
That's kind of delightful.
She's be like, hey you, fight me. And
I will start from basics just so that I can fight you.
Yeah, and it's...
I have a Pokemon League beating team, but I will start from scratch just to fight you.
I am a champion, but let's do this. And I will say, I did love the fact that Like, because Nimona does it for the love of the game. It's nice. It is nice to go up against a rival who is just loving every second of it, and gets called a twat by two of the other protagonists. It's great.
Yes, it is good.
Like, both Arvin and Penny just go, "You're a bit much," and she's like, "I fucking know. It's great."
Self-awareness in a Pokemon game.
Amazing.
It's rare. We take it.
Gen 9 nailed the story as well. I don't give a shit about the bugs. They nailed the story. Anyway, Zacian.
So, my problems with Zacian are that, one, it has two forms for absolutely no reason.
No reason at all.
None at all. The form changes don't make sense.
I will show you the form.
Why
this
they're
is
there.
This is Zacian. Basically, Zacian Lesser.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah, it picks up the sword and it becomes Steel type.
Yeah, and it's like, given you give it the sword to hold the whole time anyway.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense to me. In terms of its actual design whilst holding the sword, it doesn't look very swordy to me.
It really doesn't. It looks very Playmobil.
It doesn't look like a majestic sword wielding knight, which I think was what they were going for.
It's very much trying to think for a King Arthur vibe, and it really doesn't do it.
No.
The thing is, Pokemon has done swords well.
Yeah, the last time it did swords well, though.
Great.
Yeah, but Honedge is a sword.
Yeah.
This is dude holding a sword.
But I'm saying that they can do swords. Like, that sword looks shit.
That is actually quite a disappointing looking sword, to be fair.
Like, Wolf with sword in its mouth, kicking ass, is a strong concept. It is a strong concept. I've seen it done better literally everywhere here. Literally everywhere. Dark Souls, fucking, I think some animes I've seen, fucking Cardfight Vanguard did it better. And nobody's heard of that but me.
It has had so many seasons.
It's had so many series, which is really weird because the original anime was actually really good. The original anime for Cardfight Vanguard's really good.
Fair. But yeah, it
beats several seasons of Yu-Gi-Oh! I'll tell you that much.
Well, that is not hard.
Because the protagonist is complex and he loses.
We're a fan of that.
I do like that. It does actually make for really good storytelling.
But yeah, it's a bit poofy.
It's
not in a fun gay way. Just in it's got one big random tuft of fur at the front, and some fins, like as a shark,
as things like it,
or as a verb.
In terms of the sort of the poofy gay way, like Zacian, look at them eyes. Look at the look in this bastard's eyes. Zacian likes to dress fancy, doesn't like other people doing it.
No.
Zacian
needs to be the fanciest bitch.
It wants to be the fanciest bitch in the party. And will judge you and will saw through your 6-inch heels to make itself look better. That is a catty bitch in the worst way. Because it's a wolf.
I'll give you that. Yeah. Let's talk about mechanics, because I mean it's a fairy and steel type, which is a solid typing. Yeah.
But it's strong in a stupid way.
Yes. It has an ability which raises the attack stat of the Pokemon with this ability by 1 stage when it enters the battle.
Exactly.
Which is cheap. It's good, but it's cheap.
It's very cheap, and it's unimaginative.
But, I mean, equally well, we've gone through a bunch of very unimaginative abilities, so I don't think you can take that away from it.
We haven't really... Okay, I'll admit, we haven't really had, like, a properly good imaginative thematic ability since Gen 3.
Yeah, exactly. So, coming in and having an attack boost immediately, that's and given it is a legendary, really it's meant to be really strong.
Yeah.
It works.
It's meant to be an all-out attacker, despite the fact that it's got an extremely good defensive typing.
Yeah.
Like Fairy Steel's a really rock-solid defensive typing.
It is. And also, it has good defense stats. It's 115 on defense and special defense, 130 on attack, 138 on speed.
Here's the thing.
It got nerfed in Gen 9.
More reasons I like Gen 9. Zacian.
Oh, actually, this is the other reason why it's strong. So, it's bitch basic form with no sword. That's the stats I just read out.
Oh.
Give it the sword, it goes from a 670 stat total to a 720 stat total.
Yeah, it's an extra 50 points somewhere.
Yeah, so it immediately becomes ridiculous with a 170 base attack and 148 base speed.
That's some of the highest attack in the fucking game.
It is. So, that's, and that's fair. And also, again, in that sword form, it has 2 weaknesses, 2 immunities, and 9 resistances.
Yeah, Fairy Steel is an extremely strong combination. There's only a couple of other Pokemon that have it. It's things like Klefki, Mega Mawile, and there is another one. Tinkaton.
Yeah, and Mega Mawile, let's be very fair, Mega Mawile, for something with like a stat total of like 480...
was a beast!
Absolutely trashed the meta.
Yeah.
For the whole time it was there. And Tinkaton turned up on the scene and everybody was like, well, this bitch is ruling the roost.
Yeah, the only reason that Tinkaton didn't become fucking top tier is because someone at Nintendo went, we need to be careful this time. And they put all of its points into special defense, despite the fact that it looks like it should be a massive attacker.
Also, they gave it like an absolutely abominable attack move.
Gigaton Hammer's not bad.
No, that's my point. It's too good.
Yeah.
And so, it got banned.
Yeah. But also, like, here's the thing, because all the shit you're talking about, Zacian, I am going to pull out when we get to Zamazenta.
Well, I have a reverse on that whole thing though, with Zacian, because Zacian's move pool is shite. Zacian, the Fairy Steel type, has pretty much all normal and fighting moves.
Seriously?
Yes. Its primary moves are Sacred Sword, Close Combat, Giga Impact, Crunch. You do get Iron Head.
How do you crunch anything with a sword in your mouth?
Yeah, it's a bit shite. Also, no unique move.
Yeah, it does.
Hang on.
It's called like Behemoth Blade or something.
Nope. Through leveling up.
So they gave the shit one a unique move, because Zamazenta has a unique move.
Yeah, so Zacian, through leveling up, you get this is in Gen 8, this is when it comes out, I'm looking at. Sacred Sword, Quick Attack, Metal Claw, Howl, Quick Attack, Bite, Slash, Sword Stance, Iron Head, Laser Focus, Crunch, Moon Blast, Close Combat, Giga Impact. It doesn't even get Play Rough.
Or fucking Spirit Break.
Yeah.
So what we're saying is bring back Gallade. Give me Gallade or give me... I'm sorry, you want me to fucking have a Noble Knight? Show me Gallade. Bring me Gallade, bring me Aegislash, alright? Get this fucking dog off my screen.
Behemoth Blade. If Zacian knows Iron Head when it enters battle in its crown sword form, Iron Head will become its signature move, Behemoth Blade.
That's so
until
stupid.
The battle ends.
That's so
where
stupid.
It becomes Iron Head again.
That's so unbearably stupid.
Yes.
That's very stupid. I am going to slam dunk this dog into fucking F tier.
I don't get why they went so hard, like, on the transformation mechanic for it. Like,
it doesn't matter.
No, because you can't change it in battle. It's always going to have the held item.
And also, there's never a point in the game where you don't have both things.
Yeah, this is true. You don't get the legendary and then get the item. You get the item, then get the legendary.
So you did, because here's the thing. We're going to talk about this in a minute, because, oh god, we've only got 40 minutes left.
Yeah.
Because they actually did a better version of this later. They did a better version of this later. Koraidon and Miraidon are just a better version of this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get this fucking dog in a goddamn F tier.
Koraidon and Miraidon are great though for like
other reasons.
A bunch of reasons.
Yeah, so many reasons. We can get to that. Now here's the thing. We hate Zacian.
We do.
We don't even think about Zamazenta.
I think about Zamazenta a little bit.
Zamazenta is the red-headed stepchild.
I mean, quite literally because of its colouring.
Yeah.
I personally like Zamazenta more than Zacian.
Here's the thing I will say about Zamazenta. I feel better disposed towards because I feel it has been slighted. Because Zacian, you read out Zacian's stats.
Yeah.
All in on the attack.
Ridiculous.
It had all those really powerful defenses despite the fact that it's supposed to be all in attack. Zamazenta doesn't get to counter with its defenses. Zamazenta doesn't stand up to Shuckle.
No, it doesn't.
Zamazenta does not stand up to motherfucking Shuckle.
But that's because Shuckle has the highest defenses in the fucking game.
Yeah. This is a literal shield.
And it can't fuckle with Shuckle.
And it cannot fuckle with Shuckle.
Hey Jay, you want to hear something really funny?
Yeah.
What do you think Zamazenta's EV yields are in?
Tell me they're in special attack.
Speed!
You
ever wanted a real fast tank?
When we said that Zacian and Zamazenta didn't matter, Zamazenta matters less.
I'll give you that.
This is a
but
Pokemon...
that's mostly because of the meta.
It's so ignored in its own game and in comparison to its counterpart.
Both of them are ignored in their own games, but Zamazenta is also ignored in the meta because it didn't have an absolutely abominable fucking typing and stat.
Yeah, because it's fighting and steel, isn't it?
Yes. Which gives it 3 weaknesses and 8 resistances, and 1 immunity. So it's not loads worse, but it is worse in all 3 categories. It has one more weakness, it has 1 less resistance and 1 less immunity. And also in terms of stats, your big shiny, your big shiny stats are 145 base defense and special defense.
So that's the thing, is like Zacian gets 170 in its attack. Yeah. This is nothing.
Yeah. Zamazenta also gets, 130 base attack and 128 speed, but it's also like, if you wanted a steel type with bitchin' ass defense and also strong offense, you would choose Aegislash.
You would choose so many others.
Well, Aegislash specifically because it literally has 150 defense and special defense that you can swap to 150 attack.
Yeah.
And it has a protection move.
Yeah, which...
You would pick Aegislash.
Oh my god, I'm just looking at the moves. Hey, guess what? Okay, there's 1 protection move that Zamazenta learns. Guess what it is?
Sorry, I just looked.
It's Wide Guard.
That's grim.
Wide Guard.
No, it gets Iron Defense.
No, I mean protection moves. Iron Defense raises defense.
Yeah.
Wide Guard is a protection. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Which move is its fancy move? That's my question. Behemoth Bash, which...
I'm going to assume it's the exact same deal. Iron Head is going to turn into Behemoth Bash. Zamazenta knows Iron Head when it enters battle.
Then he gets a physical attack, 100 power, 100 accuracy, Behemoth Bash, identical to Behemoth Blade.
It's the same fucking move.
It's the same move, with the same typing. That's pretty uninteresting.
God, that's so nothing. It's so... Do you know what? Okay, do you know what fucking Zamazenta is?
What?
Uncommitted. They went for a theme, and they just didn't commit at all.
Yeah.
They just didn't bother.
It feels very half-baked. The reason I like Zamazenta more than Zacian is that I think in terms of aesthetic, in terms of design, I think the shield works better than the sword. However, in terms of mechanics, it is less, and it's not interesting. It doesn't buy into its own gimmick as the shield.
It really doesn't. Here's the thing with Zamazenta though.
Yeah.
Is somehow, despite the fact that it is a Pokemon that introduced long after Pokemon went full 3D, Zamazenta looks worse in 3D than it does in 2D. I remember this. Zamazenta doesn't look good in 3D.
It looks okay in 3D.
The Bulbapedia photos do it quite nicely, but in terms of just being behind it in a battle, it doesn't look good. Like, it looks very hemmed in at the sides. It does not look as broad as it should.
Yeah, I mean, I'll grant you that from behind, I imagine it looks pretty rubbish.
It's not great. Zacian I don't like. Zamazenta I feel sorry for.
Fair.
And it will piss me off to no end. The fact that these Pokemon do not fucking matter in their own games.
Yes, from a story perspective, they are pretty much irrelevant.
They are not even mentioned.
They are mentioned once.
They are alluded to very briefly before the end of the story, and then
no, they remember that you knock down a hillside and uncover their statues halfway through the game,
and then they're not mentioned until the post game.
Correct.
Nothing until the post game. You deal with fucking Eternatus.
Yeah.
Which is, admittedly, fun boss fight until you realize you can't lose.
Yes.
And just...
That was pretty gutting when I discovered that. That shouldn't be the case in a final boss.
And also, I really don't like Eternatus as a legendary.
No, I like it as a final boss. I don't like it as a legendary.
I like it because also that final form, you can't get.
Yeah.
And it messes up every single fucking, like, stat comparison.
Yeah.
For everything, because it's got stats of something you shouldn't have. And also, Eternatus gets nothing. It gets nothing before it appears.
Yeah. But again, that's all down to bad writing. That is not
very badly done writing.
Yeah, but again, that's not the issues with Zacian and Zamazenta as Pokemon. That's issues with the game.
Well, we did bring up the games and lore and how they were respected and built up in other entries.
Yes, we did. Yes, okay. Yes, we did.
We're working on the same grading scale because that was one of the reasons we put Giratina in S tier.
And why we put Reshiram and Zekrom in C tier.
Yeah. So Zacian and Zamazenta get to chill down there in F tier.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, I'm not gonna argue.
So
you're right.
Let's talk about something we actually do like. Motherfucking motorbike dinosaur!
Yeah!
Show me the Koraidon! Now, I know there are Koraidon and Miraidon get memed on quite a bit by the community, and it's just because of the sandwich thing. And you know what? I fucking love this thing because of the sandwich thing. This Pokemon is with you from the word go, and is kept as your partner, as part of the narrative, as it's a presence in the game. It is the exact opposite of Zacian and Zamazenta. This motherfucker is the only thing that matters. They are part of the story from the word go, and they're brilliant.
Yeah.
And they look really cool.
They are. One of the things I quite like, actually, about Koraidon and Miraidon is that where one could very much argue, particularly when you hit Zacian and Zamazenta, that legendaries were running out of shit to be representative of.
Yes.
Like, we had covered most of the big natural forces and concepts.
Yeah.
You know.
Like Zacian and Zamazenta don't actually represent concepts or forces. They are just things from legend.
Yeah, which, again, That was a way to go.
Yeah.
And it didn't work. Koraidon and Miraidon are just funky dudes you find on the beach who like sandwiches. And then you later discover that they're ridiculously powerful.
Yeah.
But they're not gods. They're not, like great unknowable forces. They're just big scaly boys who are pretty strong.
And the most sort of emblematic part of that is the fact that there's two of them.
Yeah.
You meet a second version of your box legendary in those games.
Yeah. So it's not...
And it's a cool moment. It's actually a cool moment.
It's also hard to beat because, they are actually pretty hard. They go pretty hard, these guys. It's one of the... Yeah, it's good.
This is the only good fighting a dragon type.
Yes, that is also true.
Fuck your Como.
Como is garbage.
Yeah.
Worst pseudo-legendary.
Yeah. Now, Koraidon, someone clearly, you can almost see the steps of the design with Koraidon. Where someone went, okay, we've got a big proper open world now, and we want to get the legendary nice and involved, get them in there. Okay, what do you need in an open world? You need a way to get around. Okay, let's do that with the legendary. And they went, okay,
let's steal the best bit of DLC from The Legend of Zelda and give him a motorbike.
Just give him a motorbike. Give him a fucking motorbike. And they went, yeah, but what if we made the motorbike friend? And then they built the Koraidon and Miraidon are the cornerstone of the concept, if not the actual narrative. Because you can see how they went, okay, let's have the legendary with you, but let's have them depowered the entire time. Okay, how do we make them more powerful? We've got the sandwich making mechanic. Shall we build on that? You get the character of Arven and his whole thing. It just kind of blossoms.
That's good.
And they're a presence, they're a personality.
They are. And they help you get around, and they are friend, and they're built into the story and the development of other people's characters. It's not just about you, but also they are an inciting motive. One of the reasons that you're going on your journey is to help Koraidon and Miraidon, grow. So from a lore point of view, from a narrative point of view, they are delightful.
Yeah.
From a design point of view,
they're especially delightful.
Well, I say again, it's like talking about the steps taken. Obviously one is from the future, one is from the past. This one's the one from the past. So they were like, right, well, what did dinosaurs used to look like? Dinosaurs have feathers.
Dinosaurs have feathers. And this is the thing. You see Koraidon at many different points. Because this is his final form.
Exactly. This is his big cheese form.
This, I believe it's called his apex build.
Mm-hmm.
You can kind of get that. You got that big kind of scaly thing, got the big feather crest, trying to make it look big, the puffed up chest, it behaves like an actual kind of creature, but you can see the power in its design. But what you're riding around on for most of the game is this guy. And he's so cute!
It's just a little ribbity frog boy.
He's a big frog dog!
Who like to eat sandwiches.
And snuggle up to you like he's your boy.
Yeah. He is very friend-shaped.
Paldea did amazing things when they decided okay, what we're going to revisit the idea of these are Pokemon, these are your best friends, these are your partners, and they really doubled down on that.
They did, and again, the sandwich making mechanics are memed the fuck out of for good reason, because some of the shit you can make in that picnic is exceedingly stupid.
And also, speaking of someone who takes the sandwiches very, very seriously, I fucking hate how those are done.
Yes, but it's you are very much encouraged from very early on to sit and play with the Pokemon.
Yeah.
It's like there was an acknowledgement that, in in X and Y and in Sun and Moon, some of the best bits were getting to play with your Pokemon.
Yeah.
Using the touch screen.
And it gave your Pokemon personality.
Yeah. And I mean, that was it wasn't gone in Sword and Shield, but it wasn't as front and center.
Yeah. They were a lot more focused on open world mechanics.
Yeah, whereas for Scarlet and Violet, they just went, what's the best way to explore an open world? With picnics and with friends.
Yeah.
You know, all of the pictures that people took of themselves in Legends Arceus were people playing with the Pokemon and doing silly things. They were like, this is our audience. So yeah, so I think they really excelled in, you know, what does a world look like where you live with your Pokemon and have fun times. And I think that Koraidon and Miraidon exemplified that, because everybody else is riding Cyclizar. You're obviously riding these guys, but Cyclizar is the same end of the stick. You know, it's a Pokemon that you used to get around and you're friends with and, you know, do lots of running around with.
Cyclizar is, and they specifically went, hey, this is related to Cyclizar, who is just a guy. He's just a Pokemon in this dex.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yeah,
which is also kind of cool.
It's just like, and it's Cyclizar. This is a kind of a stroke of genius, because Cyclizar is extremely ordinary.
Yes.
It's a common mode of transport, and it's even normal and dragon type, which there is only one other of.
Indeed.
And that's Drampa. And Drampa's angry.
Yeah, indeed. Drampa is angry. Drampa's angry because you touched the children.
Yeah. And then they went, okay, we're going to take this thing, we've made it very ordinary, and then we're going to say, okay, what's its potential? Let's take extraordinary out of the ordinary. And it's just, it's just a little thing. It's a little thing that is just a stroke of genius.
It's the dinosaur that evolved into a chicken.
Yeah.
You know, Koraidon is the dinosaur, Cyclizar is the chicken, and then Miraidon is the cyber chicken of the future with, like, ultra guns and lightning blasts.
Exactly. This is the T-Rex before it became a nugget. This is pre-nugget.
Pre-nugget.
But it's it's a strong design, it's a strong character.
It is, and it's a very strong mechanically.
Yes.
Because this is where we get back into big thematic abilities. They've been missing for a long time. We very much laughed about them for the last 2-3 generations.
Yep.
Koraidon and Miraidon brought them back hardcore, because the game went, right, what's a mechanic and ability that we're going to make clear across the Paradox Pokemon, which was what we introduced for Scarlet and Violet.
Yeah.
And then, like, now let's give your boy that's running it something that just launches that ability at speed.
Exactly, and they did it for both of them.
Yep. So for Koraidon, it's Orichalcum Pulse, which creates harsh sunlight, and activates a whole bunch of abilities, makes fire moves, extremely powerful, boosts the Pokemon's attack stat by 33%. So you gain.
It's Drought Plus.
It is Drought Plus.
Yeah, they actually went, right, we're going to put some effort into this one. Which, yeah.
But without being as crazy as, like, Primal Kyogre and Primal Groudon.
Yeah. This is the thing I will always say. Scarlet and Violet had some, shall we say, tricky releases.
Yes.
Yeah, they came out, there were some serious bug problems.
Yes.
Looking at them as a designer, and someone who has, especially now, as someone who has a bit more experience in the game pipeline, I can absolutely see where all the time went. They did a lot of stuff on narrative. They did a lot of stuff on visual design. They did a fair amount in terms of sort of designing the world. However, someone absolutely missed a step in testing. That's what always gets sacrificed. There are a few things that always get sacrificed. It's either sound design, QA, or narrative. Narrative was clearly involved from the start, and the sound in Scarlet and Violet kicks ass. So QA must have gotten kicked the bucket. Again, I have no inside knowledge of this. I have no, I don't know anybody who ever works on the game. I'm not speaking this as fact. I want to say that legally. I am speaking it.
But we're talking about what the entire games industry observed and said, we think that QA got absolutely shit-canned.
Yeah. Someone put a deadline on this and nobody wanted to move it. And because quality assurance always happens at the end, they didn't get time to do their job.
Yeah. And one of the problems that the Pokemon Company have always suffered from is that because their advances have, in terms of like graphics and hardware and all that kind of stuff, have always been quite small, and obviously a lot of effort went into Legends Arceus, the same attention did not go to this game.
Yeah. And
but also, speaking of just in terms of design, because the QA problems and the hilarious images that resulted are at this point, the stuff of common legend. I personally do not think that Scarlet and Violet was a well-managed open world. I think narratively, it's a really good game. I think that the option to do all of the gyms and challenges in whatever order you wanted was fine. I thought that, that's how an open world is supposed to be, and there were some sort of bits guiding you where it wanted you to go, but not really. And it had an order that it wanted you to do things in. It absolutely did.
Yeah.
And I think that could have been managed considerably better in a lot of different ways. And maybe they didn't have time to do it. I also don't think that, in the same way that the thing I love about Sun and Moon is that there are endless people everywhere saying, oh, you should go and explore this more, you should find this thing, once you beat everybody here, this. Paldea, for Scarlet and Violet, there was some of that. They kept like I am the strongest trainer in this area, and if you beat everybody I'll give you something.
Yeah.
They kept that, but it was really hard to find all of the trainers.
Oh, it was a pain in the arse. And I'll tell you one thing that did annoy me about Paldea that I only discovered realistically on my second playthrough. Every single trainer battle, with the exception of your rivals and the gym leaders, is skippable.
Oh yeah, I found that my first playthrough.
Trainer battle.
Yeah, the trainer battles are totally unnecessary. You can avoid all of them, and I did.
Admittedly, I found that hilarious.
I mean, it's like,
I can't agree with that as a designer, because that's a pretty heavy part of the brand, of the image, of the idea, and you kind of made it optional, and I don't like that.
I think that's my problem with the open world for Scarlet and Violet. I think that's the bit that they got wrong, is that, like, you look at great open world games, you look at things like Skyrim, obviously, is the kind of the preeminent example. But there's lots of other great kind of open world designs, like Dark Souls 1 has an open world. There's a bunch of others that aren't coming to me just now.
Well, I would say things like Skyrim, the Just Cause series, Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild, that's fair.
Are defined by how you get across them.
They are defined by how you get across them, but also what you find when you do.
Yeah.
And that's Pokemon Scarlet and Violet didn't have enough. It was big, and there wasn't enough in it.
There were some little secrets you could find in caves and stuff, and I had a lot of fun doing that. It is by no means the best open world I've ever been through. Scarlet and Violet are good games. They do not deserve the flack they got, but like, I thought
that the refinement and the best version of Scarlet and Violet's open world was in the Indigo Disc. that enclosed biome with lots and lots of secrets in it and lots of Pokemon and lots of trainers was better than the entire of Scarlet and Violet's open world. And I think it was because they took the exact same amount of content and squished it into a smaller, more complex area.
I will agree with you on that one. And I will also say that the Teal Mask, the area of the Teal Mask was not very interesting to explore. Kitakami was not.
No, Kitakami was shite.
Which is a real shame, because there's cool stuff in it.
Yeah.
But anyway, we've got to put Koraidon somewhere, and I want to put Koraidon quite high.
I agree. I'm for a B.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Because here's what's going on in my head. I love the design of Koraidon, and I absolutely adore the narrative throughput that it exists as part of its game, as part of its world.
Yeah.
I look at it, and I look at Groudon, and I look at Lugia, who are in our A tier, and I'm like, it's not quite as up there.
Well, here's my take on it. Here's why I think it's not quite up there. Having just absolutely trumpeted the things we love about Koraidon narratively and how it's a little guy and it's just your pal and that's wonderful.
Until it Ex Machinas.
And even when it Ex Machinas, it doesn't Ex Machina, it's Ex Machina, if you know what I mean. Like, it's not, like, you know, it's great that they went all of these games and then they were finally like, hey, okay, we've maybe stumbled on a couple of the big concepts. We maybe absolutely fucked it on the last game. Let's do something totally different and really marry it to the narrative. And that was lovely. But it's not a legend. It's not. It doesn't have the majesty of anything that we have discussed.
Yes, I think that's what it is. I think that's what it's, because it does feel like it is missing something. Like, I love Koraidon, I really do, and I think that's all to do with the writing in Scarlet and Violet.
Yeah.
You're right, it's not as... It doesn't have that grandeur.
Yeah. Also, and I've just realised that this is a problem, which I should have realised before. Everything from Gen 5 onwards, your legendaries are interchangeable.
At least in terms of our tier list, yeah.
Like, I don't think in Gen 4, I don't think Palkia and Dialga are interchangeable.
No. No, they feel very opposite. Yeah.
Kyogre and Groudon are very non-interchangeable because you get completely different teams. Yeah. Like, they are so separate, and that's great.
Well, Gen 9 is that, because I think maybe the first time that changes again, because you get the different kinds of Paradox Pokemon.
Yeah, but like,
and
also...
and a different final villain.
True. And that's wonderful in the narrative. And yes, but like, everything that we've just said that we love about Koraidon is the same for Miraidon.
Yeah.
So, because this is... Right, so if we talk about... Obviously, we talk about Koraidon, we've said, best dragon fighting type, great ability, we love the feather design, we love all the story stuff. Stats are great. 135 attack and speed. It's a motorbike, it needs to be a fast, smashy boy. 5 weaknesses isn't brilliant, as in terms of like fighting dragon.
4 times to fairy.
Yeah, times 4 weakness to fairy is not good. So that probably knocks it down a little bit. But you've got fun fighting type unique move, you've got a bunch of fire moves, dragon moves, fighting moves. Like, it's solid combo and it's built the way that it needs to be.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Miraidon
Miraidon, who is our boy here, our final entry.
Our future of lightning.
Yes.
The things that make him different, instead of sunshine, it's a lightning field, which means you can absolutely have Koraidon and Miraidon out at the same time and have both of their effects active, which is delightful.
Yeah, they do harmonize quite well. Well,
they do.
Really, but...
Well, yeah, and then Electric Dragon, design's cool as fuck. It's very future. It's very future floaty jet motorbike.
Like you're doing the Akira slide on that thing.
Yeah. We love a jet motorbike.
It does annoy me so much that you can't do the Akira slide
in Scarlet.
Yeah.
Well.
You gave us the motorcycle Pokemon. Let us do the cool anime slide.
We'll get it when, you know, we're allowed to dodge in a mainstream Pokemon game. It's good. It's good. And it does very cool things. And you look at, again, the low power mode.
It's not cute.
It is cute.
It's not as cute.
It's not as cute because it's a robot.
Yeah.
But I think it's a cute robot.
I mean, hey man, you know me, I fucking love robots.
Yeah, but you don't know many cute ones.
That's not true!
Name me a cute robot.
Okay, you ever seen Love, Death and Robots?
I have.
You know the 3 robots that are going around at the end of the world?
That's cute. That is cute.
The little dude with the cap.
I'll give you that.
Yeah.
But like, Miraidon, much stronger mechanically. Special attacker, obviously delightful. Only 4 weaknesses, no ×4s, 6 resistances. Again, very special based. You've got electric moves. You've got Power Gem, delightfully. Electric moves, Dragon moves. Overheat, just for funsies, and Power Gem. You've got your unique electric move.
Overheat makes sense.
Yeah, well, I suppose because it's a machine.
It's
sometimes it gets too hot.
At people.
Yeah, so it's yeah. Mechanically, it's stronger. Design, I will admit I love it a little bit less because I love Big Feather Boy.
Yeah.
But like, is heckin' good.
I think it's maybe because Miraidon gets rid of its legs that it also feels even less grand than Koraidon does.
Yeah. It feels short.
It does. It feels short.
Yeah.
And I think it's because it gets rid of its legs.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
That's supposed to be because it starts flying, but I think it's... Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah, so that's our feelings on Koraidon and Miraidon.
The one last thing I want to say, and I don't think this should influence our decision at all.
Okay.
The past Paradox Pokemon are, as a rule, cooler. As a collective, they are cooler than like, again, I love me some fucking robots. But
I mean, I'm not sure. I'm like,
I think a lot of the designs in the future Paradox Pokemon are kind of weak.
I think some of the designs for the past Paradox Pokemon are kind of stupid. Namely, Magneton.
Slitherwing and Screamtail?
Screamtail I don't hate. Slitherwing and Sandy Shock. Those I both think are stupid.
Sandy Shock's, for me, is stupid enough that it comes around to being fun again.
It's just like, but it's Magnemite and Magneton very explicitly evolved from modern human technology.
Yeah, they were
like
that's
where they came from. They didn't come from like ye old ancient magnets.
Yeah, they were a poor choice, I think, for that. Because honestly, Matt, what they should have done is they should have swapped it. They should have done the water type Magneton instead of Wugtrio and done like a past Dugtrio.
That would have been cool.
That would have been awesome.
But it's
Show us your Wiglet. Best Christmas present I ever gave you.
Just like occasionally just goes. Oh dear.
Such a
yeah,
bitch
I think
as well.
I thought like the future paradox for Tyranitar was pretty shite. Because it was just Tyranitar. It didn't do anything. I liked the one that they did for Volcarona. I thought Robot Volcarona looked cool.
Yeah, I'll do that. I didn't like Robot Hydreigon. I liked the Delibird was included. I didn't like Robot Delibird.
Yes.
And I didn't
Fair.
like
I didn't mind Robot Delibird. I do. Yeah.
It felt like there was less effort put into the robots, to be honest with you.
It did feel, because the design philosophy was just like sleeker, smoother, and made of metal.
Yeah. I feel like we're
which
operating
didn't.
from a poorer concept.
Yeah, I'm like, they could have gone proper Spider-Man 2099 with it, and they didn't.
See, I really think they could have benefited from going, like, doubling down on it and giving us a fucking future Paradox Metagross.
That could have been very cool.
Giving it, like...
See, I have a feeling.
Metagross is supposed to be like a supercomputer on legs.
Yeah.
Double down on that concept, man.
I mean, yeah, I have a feeling that probably the thing that hamstrung them was the design philosophy that the Pokemon always needs to be cute at the end.
Yeah, even for something like Iron Jugulus, which should realistically be fucking terrifying.
Yeah, like, I think if they'd gone hardcore edgy with all of the future Mons, they would have had a much better time of it.
Yeah.
But they didn't, and it was sad. Even like the ones that are like really have taken over in the meta. So you mentioned Iron Jugulus, that's the Hariyama one, isn't it?
No, Iron Jugulus is the Hydreigon one.
Fair. Well, the Hariyama one, Iron Hands, that very prevalent in the meta for a while. It really solid move combos. In the forms of being able to use Belly Drum with the Supercell boost, and then having like a really hardcore electric physical move.
I did like that I liked their choice of Pokemon for the Paradox. I like that they chose some favorites. They chose some things that were kind of neglected. Yeah,
they chose like Brute Bonnet. Like, who the fuck was gonna choose fucking Fungus and Amoonguss?
Well, funny you should say that, actually. Because Amoonguss was a meta threat for a really, really long time, and Brute Bonnet's apparently worse.
How is that a meta threat?
Because Amoonguss can learn fucking Spore.
Yeah, but it's still just a grass type.
Grass poison.
Grass, yeah, like the most generic of the grass types.
It was really tanky. It could learn Spore. I think it got a really good ability as well.
Fair. I mean, Spore is obviously a great move. Previously relegated only to Parasect, and it's one of the reasons why I actually really love Parasect.
Yeah, Amoonguss having 100% accuracy with Spore.
Yeah.
Fucking scary.
Also, I've just realised that Parasect's grass bug. Yeah. It's the OG grass bug.
Yeah.
Followed up by Livani, the other grass bug.
Yeah.
You gotta love 2 times 4 weaknesses, 1 to flying and 1 to fire.
But Brute Bonnet, because it's got a worse, because Grass Dark is not a good type combination. It's often regarded as worse than Amoonguss.
I'm trying to think what else has got grass. Cacnea.
Cacturn, Chef-Try.
Chef-Try, yeah.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weaknesses, including a 4 times to bug.
That's grim.
Yeah, it's not great. It's not great. But anyway, we need to sentence Miraidon. I don't think Miraidon should go as high as Koraidon.
That's mean. Why not?
I don't think its design is quite as strong.
I disagree. I think its design is just as strong, because I love jet bikes. I think that when you're riding it, it looks like the Tron bike, which is what you wanted. And I think that it nails that. I think it does fun, friendly, I'm your pal Lightning Dragon from the future.
Yeah, alright. We'll put it back in B tier. Buddy.
Yeah.
Look, they're hugging.
Yay! We love the huggles.
They're gonna fight over a baguette.
Fucking are, aren't they?
And that's it. That's 10 o'clock. This is our official tier list of all of the Mascot legendaries.
Absolutely.
Don't like the
not
fact
including DLC.
Not including DLC, because fuck the DLC.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Do either of us even really have an opinion on Urshifu or Calyrex? Because neither of us bought the fucking DLC.
I don't like Calyrex conceptually.
I don't like Calyrex's legs. They're weird.
Yeah, they are weird.
I've got opinions on Ogerpon, and I've got opinions on Terrapagos.
Yeah. I still haven't actually caught Terrapagos. I got really into the Indigo Disc, and then because I decided I wanted to grind up a whole new team with, Pokemon that I wanted to play with, and make some things, and then I kind of got pulled into like the competitive meta for like a hot minute, and then I was like, actually, no, I don't want to be here, and I'm leaving.
Yeah.
And then I haven't gone back.
Also, I kind of think the DLC is a flawed concept for Pokemon.
I mean,
the way they've been doing it, where you add a whole bunch of Pokemon back in.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I don't think it works very well, because
it is reselling you shit that you already have.
It's reselling you shit you already have, and it's also resetting you.
Yeah.
Because you have your team that you've gone through the entire game with. You can't do the DLC until you finish the game.
Yeah.
Or at least it's not wise to.
No.
It's just like, it feels like nothing. It doesn't feel like much. Anyway.
Yeah. No, I'll give you that.
That's 10 o'clock. That's the end. This is our official tier list of the Mascot legendaries of the Pokemon series. We've been talking shit about literal gods. We're gonna get smoked.
Nope.
We're probably going to do more of this next week, because we do have some other shit we want to talk about, Pokemon-wise. But for now, that's going to be us. You can find this and all of our previous streams on YouTube at youtube.com/thebrothersHoney. I am on Twitter at JonathanHoney4. You can also follow my games company, All Alliance Games. We are at @all_games on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. End of the month, if you're in the Glasgow area and are very gamewardly inclined, as I've just announced today, Odd Alliance Games is going to be out at the Scottish Games Frenzy on the 31st of October at the Barclays Eagle Labs. So if you're around there, come along, say hi. It's free to get in.
Absolutely.
Come hang out. We'll talk about games. I'll say something really, really insulting. It'll be great.
It'll be fabulous.
It'll be fantastic. You can follow Chris on Instagram at ChrisHoneyActor.
I don't currently have any projects, although we are planning for the next year. We are thinking we will go back to Glasgow Comedy Festival. We might do the Edinburgh Fringe next year. We might do a few other fringes up and down the country. We will see. Plans are in the making. And I also might join the opera. We'll find out.
Fantastic. Chris might do operations.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. And
I will operate heavy machinery.
And yeah, Chris and I we also have some interesting plans for the new year that will eventually come around. We've got ideas and plans and things. So yeah. Hit the fucking buttons, do the fucking things. You know how this shit works. If you're watching this currently, you're probably watching it on YouTube, so we're here every Monday. I'm gonna try and get back to streaming myself doing game dev stuff on Fridays, but Fridays are starting to become the only nights I get to myself, so
we'll see how we do.
We'll see how we do, because I do want to finish that project because it was really fun. Yeah, we'll see you all next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.